The most incomprehensible thing in the world to a man is a woman who rejects his offer of marriage.
I do not comprehend it because it is madness.
Welcome to Lights, Camera, Remake, where we try to determine whether Hollywood has truly run out of ideas. I'm Bridget LaMonica, a camera operator and Steadicam operator. My co-host Erica will return in future episodes. For now, I'm using the opportunity to talk with various members of the film industry and get their opinions on remakes. In today's episode, we're looking at two versions of a Jane Austen story. These are only two of the nearly 10 versions that I saw that have appeared on the small screen, the silver screen, and on stage in musicals. Emma is a story that survives the test of time, proving that being a busybody matchmaker is something that's still relatable. Today I have a special guest who is one of the worker bees helping a film set run smoothly. Dorothy McConnell has worked as a set PA and an office PA in Atlanta film productions, and has gotten the chance to work with a few of her favorite heroes. So, Dorothy, what does a PA do on a film set?
Hey guys, so production assistant is kind of like a jack of all trades, really. I feel though I'm the one that's always under what is the assistant director's department. They're the ones that's like in charge of the set. They're the one that talks to the directors, the producers, the gaffer, like everyone. They're like basically the one that's in charge, and we kind of like follow suit as production assistants to assist them in whatever they need, from like assisting getting like cast to set, background actors, which are the background actors, and then also dealing with like, you know, some of the tasks like getting food, maybe having to go to like a rental house to pick up some gear that like a camera guy or someone in like a group cannot get to, so the PAs are more readily available to go and do those odd jobs. Also, we can do like what are called lockups, like say we're like downtown Atlanta in an area where we don't want just anyone to walk through, especially since if there's like stunts or something that's dangerous happening. I mean, I did Hawkeye.
That's right,
the
yeah.
second unit.
I know you were excited about
which
that.
was so exciting because I really wanted to be on the show because I am a big Marvel fan and I'm a big Hawkeye fan.
Yes,
and
you
a
are.
big Jeremy Renner fan. I just
know this.
love the actor. And I always wanted to work with people that I love. I mean, like, I know people are like, oh, what's that all about? I'm like, because why not work with the person that I really like to watch on film? I mean, if I had to be here for 15 hours, if I get like to be with my favorite actor, it just makes it all the world make it so much better.
Yeah, I totally agree.
But I just remember one day we had shot near off of, I think it's Peter Street. It's downtown, and it was very busy, and it was like a 5-way stop where cars can come, and also MARTA was coming through, and we had to like have so many PAs that day to just make sure people would not cross through, because the stunt we were pulling off was like some crazy driving shots where some of the cars had to do some crazy turns, and we had to make sure that people were not walking through. And it was crazy because this was during when COVID was happening, and there was a restaurant that was reopening.
Oh, no.
And people were excited to go to it, but we unfortunately were in their way. And so it was a lot of pressure. I mean, whenever I watch this scene, I think it's like the 4th episode, I think, on Hawkeye. Whenever I see it, I see the corner, and I just can't help but not think like, oh my god, because I'm like, I know I'm standing on one side of the corner making sure no one goes through it.
That's amazing.
So
awesome.
So yeah, but so where's Erica?
Oh, you noticed. So Erica got it in her head to release all the kangaroos from the Atlanta Zoo. However, it turns out that there are no kangaroos at the Atlanta Zoo. We wish her well in her kangaroo freeing endeavors and can't wait to find out where she goes next.
I have so many questions of what this kangaroo reference is for. Like, I'm sure there's something more to it. Cause
it ain't that deep. It's from Good Burger.
It's what?
It's from Good Burger.
Oh my god. Okay. Unfortunately, guys, guys, sorry, I am a little bit older, so I am a Gen Xer. That's one reason why I came to do this one, because Clueless is my generation, but I know about Good Burger, but unfortunately it kind of came out.
You would have been a grown-ass adult at that point.
Yeah, I was not paying attention at that point.
So I asked Dorothy what movies she would like to cover, and she mentioned Emma and Clueless, and I was just about as clueless as Cher in Clueless because I knew nothing about the movie. Did not know it was based on a Jane Austen novel. Did not know that these were so similar, except one is definitely a Regency era period piece. And the other one is a 90s fashionista, rich socialites in a high school setting. But it's the same story. It's great.
Which now, considering though, now that's 2025, Clueless is now a period piece.
Oh God, you're right. You're right. Because I was looking at all the references going, I remember that. Oh my God, the style is terrible. Why do they wear those baggy jeans? Why did all the boys have Jinko jeans? So I did run into an interesting question here, because normally I do the earlier movie first and I do the later movie second. But what's weird is the period piece in this case is 1996 and Clueless is 1995.
Okay.
In this case, I'm going to start with the period piece because it felt like it should have been older. And then go to Clueless, mostly because the period piece is more accurate towards the novel. And Clueless is definitely a different adaptation. Ironically, however, Clueless came out a year before the Emma we're talking about. Emma has been remade a lot. In 1995, Clueless, directed by Amy Heckerling. It's a modern reimagining, as I talked about. Emma with Gwyneth Paltrow, written and directed by Douglas McGrath. 1996, again, Emma, Diarmuid Lawrence, a British TV network ITV, just TV movie that was released on TV around the same time the Gwyneth Paltrow film was in theaters, which is wild to me. Supposedly that's a more realistic version that is more into the customs of Regency England, but I feel like the Emma I watched with Gwyneth Paltrow is pretty close to that too. In 2010, we have Aisha, which is a Bollywood reimagining specifically of Clueless. So they tried to do their own Clueless, which it looks pretty accurate. And then in 2020, we have another Emma. This was Autumn de Wilde, another female director. We love it. Starring Anya Taylor-Joy. And it apparently balanced the period drama with more modern sensibilities, like towards gender dynamics. So I'm kind of interested to see that at some point. It did make Screen Rant's list for most underrated film of 2020. So good on you. Oh, there's also an Emma the musical and a Clueless the musical. So this...
There is a lot with this book, and
yeah,
to be honest, I appreciate it because it's so cool, because it's so many versions of one woman.
Yeah, and it's all from an 1815 novel by Jane Austen, which it's kind of amazing that, like, you think about the 1800s and you're like, yeah, they're like a different breed, like they don't know what we go through, but like all that interpersonal stuff is still very relatable.
Oh yeah, I mean, like, obviously the politics of the time are somewhat different, but there are some things that are similar. I mean, yeah, women still get paid less than men. So
there's pshaw, that doesn't happen. We're going to start with Emma, 1996. It was written and directed by Douglas McGrath. DP is Ian Wilson, and it's starring Gwyneth Paltrow, James Cosmo, Greta Scacchi, and Alan Cumming. Among other, there's a bunch of great actors in there. Ewan McGregor's in there too. But yeah, IMDb rating is a 6.6 out of 10. On Rotten Tomatoes, it's an 84% tomato meter, 76% popcorn meter. That's the audience. So it's still pretty well liked, I would say. And then if you can look up the description, I put the really quick description.
Emma is a mischievous beauty who sets up her single friends, making a hilariously tangled up mess of their lives until she herself falls in love. Gwyneth Paltrow stars in this beloved adaptation of Jane Austen's novel.
So I got some behind the scenes on this movie, since this is the one I decided to focus on. Director-writer Douglas McGrath, he fell in love with Jane Austen's book while he was a student at Princeton. 10 years later, he brought the script that he wrote to Miramax and originally pitched it as a modern retelling. Miramax's co-chairman at the time was the now infamous Harvey Weinstein. and he liked the idea of a modern retelling. McGrath didn't find out about Clueless being in production until he was well into planning Emma, so it's a good thing he didn't go for the modern retelling, because then he probably would have gotten bumped out for being the later movie. Star Gwyneth Paltrow got the part. This is interesting. Specifically because she could do a believable Texas accent.
Wait, what? Well,
I know. It's weird, right?
I mean,
there's a reason for this.
I mean, she is great for the role.
She is great for the role. The reason McGrath chose her is because she did a really believable Texan accent in her previous film. He said basically it's not easy for non-Texans to do that accent correctly, so he was pretty sure she could be an English noblewoman as well, which good on him for being able to see that. Weinstein did require Paltrow to do a Matt Reeves rom-com, The Pallbearer, before Emma was even allowed the go-ahead. So even in the mid-90s, we were still wheeling and dealing. You have to do my movie if you do your movie, and so on and so forth. I also wanted to mention two things about two other actors. Actress Toni Collette was cast as the Rubenesque, which means voluptuous, Harriet. She actually gained weight to play the role, and she was quoted as saying, "I think it's important for people to look real in films. There's a tendency to go Barbie doll, and I don't agree with that at all." Which I thought that was cool. And it fit her character. So if she was comfortable doing that, cool. But for the most part, I'm not a fan of people doing extreme diets to do movies.
Who doesn't love Toni Collette? I mean, I'm sorry. She is one of the coolest, best actresses out there.
She's one of my favorites in this movie. She's wonderful. Ewan McGregor was also in this movie. He'd just gotten off of Trainspotting. That one's a wild one. But that movie required him to have a buzz cut, so he wears what he refers to as the world's worst wig.
Well, yeah, it is quite a bit. But no, I mean, yeah, this is a great cast.
I've seen worse wigs.
I mean...
Yeah,
it
is a great cast.
It, but yeah, he is in
it. He's one of the dudes. Let me see. Hold on, that's not helpful. Hold on, I gotta look it up again because I don't remember. He's not the main guy. Oh, Ewan McGregor is Frank Churchill. It was the one she falls for at some point. Oh my God, that was a bad wig. I didn't even think about that. It's not as bad as I've seen. I've seen worse.
Which, by the way, when you get to the Clueless, you can figure out which character he's playing.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Cool.
It's quick. It's pretty quick. And of course, now this is an English, everybody's English in this movie. Only two actors were actually English. We have an American, an Australian, a Scotsman, an Irishman, and somebody else, I think.
Which is so funny because now is like, how often do we now hear actual American actors?
Yeah, a lot of our American characters are now played by Brits. So, I mean, maybe they're just getting back at us. Let's be honest. I talked about in my last episode about like characters in The Walking Dead. Like a lot of the big characters are British. Coral. Anyway. So I'm going to go through the plot of Emma, and my usual spiel is cut in when you want to, or if you want to make an observation. Otherwise, we could talk about it after. But yeah, if there's something you want to comment on, definitely put your words out there. In 19th century Regency England, everybody's a busybody, and gossip is the best currency people have. At least that's the impression I got. The movie opens on a wedding for Miss Taylor, soon to be Mrs. Weston. We're introduced to odd customs of the time, like some woman who says, "Surely you're not serving cake at your wedding." Why not? Cake is amazing. I'm sure there was some reason why they didn't like cake. It was so gauche.
It's their version of gluten back then. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. That's probably the gluten intolerance of the time, or at least the people who aren't actually upset with gluten for health reasons. They're like, "Oh, I'll get fat if I eat gluten." That's not how that works. But girl, eat the cake. Your lifespan is like 45 years. Just eat the cake. Anyway, I was gonna die on that hill, but I'm gonna keep going. Emma is a little sad because she feels like she's gonna lose her friend to the marriage. But she is proud that she hooked them up. This is kind of her claim to fame. She says, "I made the match myself. What a triumph." She is a self-professed matchmaker. She's very proud of it. Her papa says, "Please, my dear, encourage no one else because marriage is so disruptive to one's social circle." I got the impression from her papa that he doesn't want anyone to marry and he wants his kids to stay home forever, ever, and ever. That continues through the rest of the movie. Emma, though, I will give them points for this. Emma's not like some useless noble woman. She can paint, she can draw, she does archery. We see her tending plants. Like she's doing things. She's not sitting around looking pretty all the time and gossiping.
She would be like today's version of like the Housewives. Because they always have something to do in those shows.
She has activities.
Yeah.
So I appreciate seeing a little bit more, especially doing archery. I wasn't expecting that. And that's why on the cover of the movie, she's doing archery. Because I guess they're like, look, she's a badass. But she's also wearing frilly skirts. Can you tell me what the relationship between Emma and John Knightley is? Because he lives in the same house, right? I'm confused about that.
He's just like very close to the family. I know that. He's just a close friend in the neighborhood.
Okay. As I said, Emma's very proud of being a matchmaker. Her latest project will be Mr. Elton, played by Alan Cumming, a man of 26, and Harriet Smith. She is going to drive herself crazy trying to get Harriet Smith hooked up with people. But then, like, I guess that didn't work out. I guess Harriet didn't like him or something. And Emma's like, oh, Harriet, Robert Martin said something very kind about you. Harriet refuses Martin's offer of marriage. This is partly because Emma doesn't think he's good for Harriet. She's like constantly meddling. And then Mr. Knightley, who is, I guess, he's another wealthy nobleman, friend of the family kind of person. Again, I couldn't figure out their exact relationship. Knightley was talking to Emma and is very confused by Harriet not accepting this offer of marriage. Emma says, the most incomprehensible thing in the world to a man is a woman who rejects his offer of marriage. And I thought that was a good line. And then he says, I do not comprehend it because it is madness. And they just bicker back and forth with Emma saying things like, he's not her equal. And Knightley saying things like, he's her superior, which was, okay. It's old time England. I'm going to let that slide, but normally I wouldn't. They're basically arguing because Harriet is a gentleman's daughter and Martin is a farmer, a respected farmer, but Emma wants her to end up with someone more genteel. And Knightley says if your gentleman choice is Mr. Elton, it won't work. So naturally, Emma immediately goes to work softening up Mr. Elton to look at Harriet. Emma has Elton write a riddle that somehow becomes a declaration to court Harriet. I think she tricked him, to be honest, because he was definitely writing it to be cutesy to Emma specifically. And Emma does make some interesting observations sometimes. She does point out, like, a single woman of good fortune is always respectable, but it's not respectable if you're poor. So there's a lot to do with status and things like that there. Emma takes Harriet around town, helping some poor sick people. Harriet is clumsy and virtually useless, but in order to make her friend look good, Emma claims that Harriet was basically the hero of the hour, taking care of the less fortunate. And she's really trying to get her hooked up with Elton. Like, she tells him that she was this wonderful person helping all these people, and Emma didn't do anything. It's Harriet who took over. And she thinks finally when the two go off on a walk together, like, oh, this is going to be his moment to declare his love for her. This happens very fast, typically, in this time period, I guess. She's able to eavesdrop just in time to hear him say, I simply love celery root. And then there's a party, because there's many parties. They're rich in parties. After the party, Elton declares his love to Emma. And she tries to redirect him. Harriet, Harriet, Harriet. He's like, no, I don't want Harriet. So Harriet and Emma go visit these women. I think it's Mrs. Cole and her daughter. I forget their names. I might be wrong. They're very gossipy too. And they talk about how Mr. Elton went into the country and like every woman is like after him. And Harriet is so upset because she's like, he was going to be mine, even though she really didn't have a chance, but she got pumped up by Emma. It's a really interesting scene transition where Emma and Harriet are visiting with this family. And then they're like, well, what will you do when Jane visits? And they're like, you must turn to her and say, and then Emma turns and says the next line exactly to Jane. So like the two scenes got mushed together. And they do that like twice in the movie. I thought it was kind of clever. But ding dong, Elton is engaged. Didn't take long, took maybe days. During a chance meeting, Harriet rushes into a shop to escape the rain and ends up in the same shop as Mr. Martin and his sister. Mr. Martin is the guy she said no to before. He follows her outside the shop, gives her directions. He's very helpful. Harriet obsesses about the interaction, and it's kind of at times hard to tell if she liked the attention or hated it. She's hard to read. I think she doesn't know herself. And Emma tries everything she can do to not tell her that Elton is engaged because that's going to drive Harriet over the edge. Harriet's very obsessive. Like, I like her character. I think she's very easy to, like, sympathize with.
Oh, yeah.
But she's obsessive.
I like how, even though this takes place where it takes place, these are still problems of today. I mean,
yeah.
Like, that's one reason why Clueless was easy to make, because that's a more modern story. But, I mean, everyone's had a crush on someone that doesn't have a crush on you.
The unreciprocated love.
You're in love with someone, but
yeah,
that person you're in love with is in love with someone else, and that person is in love with it's like, you know, you're all in, like, not to also quote a note, like Downton Abbey, there's a scene where the cook's like, y'all are all in love with the wrong person. So
that's
and
good.
It happens even back then, even wearing the frilly coats and you know, drinking tea out of the fancy cups. It doesn't, the same drama is the same drama everywhere.
The heart wants what it thinks it wants. Sometimes it doesn't know what it wants.
Yep.
It's time for Emma to have her meet cute. Emma foolishly drives her horse-drawn carriage into water. She does it so confidently, and it's strange because of how the scene is shot. You can clearly see like a grassy area that she definitely could have driven through instead, but instead she goes right into this like virtual lake. But story-wise, we need her to be hopelessly stuck. And everyone knows if a Regency woman gets her ankles wet, she'll melt. Thank you for that. So a handsome stranger, Mr. Frank Churchill, played by Ewan McGregor, comes out of the woods and he says, you'll just have to live there then, and pretends to leave. And then he helps her. So now she's a little enamored with Mr. Frank Churchill. There's another interesting dialogue transition as Emma complains about the Coles not inviting her, and then immediately thanks Mrs. Cole for inviting her. I mean, I thought that was clever. Like, that was a modern humor interjected into an old school story. I appreciate that.
I'm sorry, this is where I felt like I liked Gwyneth in the role the most, when she's kind of whiny, but then next scene, it's like, oh, this fake appreciation, because it's like she's being a little fake earlier when she's whining about them, and then being like, oh, I'm like, that was perfect for Gwyneth Paltrow. Like, this.
That is great.
Like,
I thought she was very believable.
I know some people see her as problematic now, especially with her company, but I'm sorry, I felt like this role was quite fitting for her.
Yeah, she hadn't gooped yet at this point, so like, I'll give her a pass. I think I like her as an actor. I just don't like her as a faux health guru. I don't think she knows what she's talking about. But as an actor, she's talented.
Yeah, I think she was also on the rise at this point, because I think
I think so. I think she was
she
doing well.
Dated Brad Pitt, I think, at this time. Yeah, she was before Jennifer Aniston, before Angelina Jolie. It was Gwyneth Paltrow.
That's wild. Okay, I was not even expecting that. Wow. Okay, so at this next meeting, Emma spends a meeting with the now married Eltons. She compliments Mrs. Jane Elton on her musical prowess. It definitely feels like a dig. Jane is unlikable. She makes a point of saying, yeah, I accepted a smaller house. I don't need 2 carriages. And she keeps making little digs at other people around her. So she's just instantly unlikable. Never mind about Jane. I don't care about her anymore. Emma decides to throw a party for Jane so nobody knows she dislikes her.
See? Yep. Yeah. It's like,
it's so like all this petty stuff. It's still modern. It's still relatable. Emma says in her diary that she's not in love with Frank. So clearly she is. And she wants to pair up Harriet and Frank instead. You know, she's always thinking of others, but not herself. I put in my notes, blah, blah, more Regency England. Emma is obsessed with Frank, and she asks God to not let him be with anyone else, because if I can't have him, nobody will. And then Emma has a lovely walk and talk with Mr. Knightley. She claims Frank was not much more than a nuisance to her. She's not upset that, he rebuffed her. She's clearly a little upset, but like, she's moving on. She's making that process happen. And Knightley admits that he was pleased to hear that Frank was engaged. Because it gave him a chance at Emma. He literally rushed home to get back to her. In this moment, he professes his love. She professes her love back, and it's about to be wedding bells. Emma does pose 2 problems. She says she doesn't want to leave her father alone in the house because she's the last child to be married off. Again, he's very much like, don't get married, your social circle will ruin, and you'll run out of the house from me. Knightley just says, we'll move in with him. But Emma has one last piece of unfinished business. Harriet doesn't have a suitor. And we feel for Harriet. She's really had a hard time. Emma feels guilty, but she doesn't have to do anything because Harriet comes to her towards the end of the movie and says she's accepted Robert Martin's proposal after he wooed her for a grand total of about 4 days. Because that's all it took. And man, people move fast in Regency England.
There is one scene, though, that will be familiar what happens in Clueless. Obviously, spoiler alert. So there is a scene where Elton snubs Harriet at a dance.
Yes.
Like, it just
that's
embarrassed her.
She's trying to dance with him, and he basically goes, whoa, look at the time. I gotta get out of here. Yeah.
And then Knightley sees that and thinks that, like, that is so rude.
Oh,
and
that's right.
he swoops in and saves her and dances with her, which is very similar to a scene in Clueless.
You're right.
And after that, though, it kind of literally swept Harriet off of her feet. And when she confesses to Emma that she wants to try and get Mr. Knightley, that's when Emma's like all of a sudden realizing that maybe she might have feelings, but it doesn't really come to her head because when she hears that, she thinks, oh no, you want to go after Mr. Knightley? I don't think I'm okay with that. And it's clearly, again, it's very similar to a scene where Cher and Josh, and oh my gosh,
Cher, Josh, and the is it Ty?
Ty. Played by the late Brittany Murphy. But
shit.
Yeah.
I forgot, yeah.
But they're just, that scene is one of the scenes that it's pretty much in Clueless.
No, you're right. And
that is one of my actually favorite scenes.
Mr. Knightley is so kind to her. She immediately is like wooed, but really he's just a good dude. Like that's something I respect in this, is that he's not a jerk. He has that one line earlier about someone being their superior and all that, but that has to do with the class system back in the olden days. Again, they're trying to use dialogue of the time, so I'm trying not to overlook that. So I will admit that I don't often go to period pieces to watch. I see the once in a blue moon. Like, for example, Sinners. Really loved the sumptuous detail and costumes and the language of the time and stuff. And then it became a vampire movie, which is great. But I don't often go to period pieces, or especially Victorian England. It's not usually my cup of tea. But I feel like the story is still so relatable. Excuse you. My dog just snorted. I'm going to leave it in. Forget it. I feel like it's still so relatable, and that's why when I started watching Clueless afterwards, I was like, okay, I see these parallels so much easier now. I already kind of talked some behind the scenes. I couldn't find a lot about this movie. I'm going to give them props for a very pretty movie. Like, they definitely were all about the environments and the countryside.
With all the, I'm making my little complaints, or with all the behind the scenes of like Marvel or Star Wars, it'd be cool if we can get more behind the scenes of stuff like Emma, because the costumes and the locations you have to go for these. I mean,
well, if you remember, like, behind the scenes really, really took off, I would say, at the advent of DVDs. But before that, we had, like, was it on A&E channel, or like it was like Inside Edition or something? Yeah. And there would be like these little 20-minute things about like, let's talk about the cinematography. Earlier, and I used to love those programs. Like, that's probably part of what got me into thinking about working in films to begin with. So
like Lord of the Rings.
I would love to. Literally, anytime I watched a movie, I would just watch all the special features afterwards. So yeah, I miss that. If anyone can find some stuff about this movie, let me know. But frankly, I just wanted to get to Clueless. And we are going to start on the Clueless portion of this. So Clueless, I had never seen. 1995. Written and directed by Amy Heckerling. DP was Bill Pope.
By the way, Amy is also the director for Fast Times at Ridgemont High.
Is she really?
Yep.
I should have looked her up. Yeah, and a woman directed Wayne's World too. So like a lot of the comedies of the time. And then they keep trying to say, but women don't know comedy. I'm sorry, we've proven time and time again that we do. Clueless, written and directed by Amy Heckerling. I said that. DB. Starring Alicia Silverstone, pre-Batman, Stacey Dash, and Brittany Murphy, among many, many others, including the permanently baby-faced Paul Rudd.
Which he does look good for his age, I will say, but I do think from this movie he has aged.
You can see it. You can see a little
see
difference because it did take me a second to recognize him.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
But I will say though, I love everyone always refers to him maybe as Ant-Man or one of his other characters, but for me, whenever I see Paul Rudd, he is Josh.
Okay.
I see Josh.
Okay. I dig it. Josh is the Mr. Knightley.
Yep, he's
of
Mr.
this
Knightley
movie.
of this.
IMDb rating is 6.9 out of 10.
Should be higher.
It should be higher. I do wonder sometimes when numbers get skewed, but we'll see. Rotten Tomatoes, 81% tomato meter, 76% popcorn meter. So it's actually skewing pretty close to Emma's numbers there. I'm going to have Dorothy read the IMDb description.
Shallow, rich, and socially successful Cher. I don't think she's shallow, by the way. But Cher is at the top of her Beverly Hills high school pecking scale.
That's a weird way to put it.
Yeah, seeing herself as a matchmaker, Cher finds a way to match up two teachers to date.
Yes, and of course it was at first to benefit herself, and then after that she's like, oh, I'm going to do more good deeds.
Yeah.
Which was cool. Ironically, the remake ability of the story does not end here because there's a Clueless TV series in 1996 starring Rachel Blanchard as the title character. Ironically, Donald Faison stars in both this movie and the TV series.
Oh, and just so you know, if you want to know how much I am so tied to this movie,
on.
so that series, they came out, 17 Magazine had a series of magazines that would do school zones. And the year that they chose to do the TV show Clueless, they chose my school, North Atlanta High, I think it was 1996 or 7. You said 96 for when the show came out?
96 the show came out, yes.
So that's the year that they chose, and I was in high school. Unfortunately, I was not there when they were picking, but they picked my best friend at the time. They picked a few other of my friends, and we were in it. So I thought it's so funny that, I feel like I'm so tied to this show because, like, the magazine of that, my high school and that show was on the same issue.
Yeah, she showed me pictures, too, so I've seen evidence of this.
Like, okay, cool. And it's basically the same cast. The only one is you have no Alicia Silverstone. Yeah. I can't remember why she's not in it. And
I think
Brittany Murphy.
Oftentimes, it's like movie actors and TV actors often did not intermingle. But what's weird is Donald Faison is in both, and
Stacey Dash.
And Stacey. Oh, I didn't see her on the list.
Amber.
Okay, I didn't see them, but I know Donald Faison because he is Tucker from Scrubs. That's my point of reference.
And that's where Stacey was probably getting stuck because I mean, even though 90s is getting more progressive, there are certain things probably not cool where. Yeah. Some people are always going to be only stuck in TV because...
Yeah. Well, they get typecast. That happens to actors all the time. Like, oh, you're the funny guy. You can't be... And then you've got, like, an actor like Bryan Cranston who was the funny dad for so many seasons of The Middle. And then he's Walter White. Like, he's the most polar opposite, intense character in an intense show. So, like, actors have proven time and time again they have range.
Back then was, like, sitcoms and dramas were not the...
Right.
Shows you went for like, oh, the absolute best actor. You went for it because you got home and after homework you just wanted to watch a fun show. Like you didn't want something that was going to be where you need to watch the next episode like right away. It would be like, oh, I can wait a week.
So this movie, it is a pretty good adaptation in that it freshens it up, but it also has a very similar story without being, I think, redundant too much. You kind of pick out who's the analog to the original characters, but without like... It doesn't feel like I just watched the same movie twice, even though I kind of did. It opens on a song that has been remade a million times. We're the Kids in America.
Oh, and I love that song. And can I say, I also love that soundtrack.
And it's such a snapshot of the time.
I remember in the basement of my best friend at the time, we were listening to Green Day, 9 Inch Nails, And then this soundtrack, and we listened to it over and over again. I specifically remember listening to In Her Basement.
I love it. I love soundtracks. So everybody get your Spotify playlist out and listen to the Clueless soundtrack after you listen to this episode. So I'm going to kind of gloss over the plot because I didn't write it word for word, but it is similar enough that we can kind of just refer to things. Guys, watch this movie because like literally in the first in the first like 30 seconds, we have a meme that's so popular of Alicia Silverstone driving her beautiful white Jeep, hitting something and going, looking over her shoulder.
Yeah, no, this movie's, it's
so memeable.
About this movie is so great. I mean...
But I will say the writing on this one was so strong because like the voice behind Cher, because she has a lot of inner monologue and the way she's describing the world around her, it's very much in character and it's funny as heck because she just says stuff she doesn't realize is funny. Like, yeah, I'm a pretty good driver, even though I don't have a license yet. Or like Dion and I were both named after great singers of the past who both do infomercials.
Or
like,
when
I love that line.
She's looking further on when she's looking for like who to date, Mr.
Hart? No, Hall. Mr. Hall.
And she's looking and then she kind of breaks like, ooh, Snickers. Like, you know, that's such a teenager's thing to be like, yeah, I'm doing this, but oh, I'm hungry for Snickers. Like,
honestly, just the dialogue lines alone was really like if you were studying screenwriting, maybe put this on one of your lists and read the script to it because just the dialogue was so pivotal. And I think it also, I could be wrong, I think it also inspired teenagers of the time to start saying things like, as if.
Oh, yeah. I never said as if too much because it was clear that that's where that came from, but whatever. Oh, yeah, we definitely
There's something about bugging, right?
Yeah, bugging.
Sorry, I sound so old now.
I felt like
bugging.
A lot of trends did come from this movie. I mean,
yeah.
Alicia, she has a very powerful voice, and I felt like back then, even in the 90s, still don't have that a whole lot for young girls, especially at least for me. Well, that's why I said I pulled for her character a lot. And then also, like, even her friends also have quite a bit of a voice. I mean, watch something recently. If you look at Dion's character, she's not the stereotypical...
I like her. She's weird.
Girl
she's eccentric.
That's from the hood. No, she's from a wealthy neighbor, like, wealthy home. And she's African-American. That's rare.
She has a very unusual, eclectic style, but she's like very interesting character in her own right.
She's developed. She's interesting. And no, they didn't make her the stereotypical, that she's the one to be saved. No, she's just as rich because that's the reason why her and Cher are best friends because they're matched.
Yeah. Like they match each other's energy.
Yeah. So that's one reason why that I thought this movie was cool because you just didn't see that of a black character. Especially a girl. And
to not be just a wisecracking best friend character, because that felt like a lot of the buddy comedies of the time would do something like that. Yeah, she's a full character. So yeah, I mean the plot basically takes off from this, not because Cher wants to be a matchmaker exactly. She more finds herself wanting to do some good deeds for other people. So it actually starts because she gets some bad grades and she brings it home to her lawyer father, who's definitely a perfectionist. And she's like, this teacher is being so unreasonable because she couldn't talk her way out of this one bad grade with Mr. Hall. So she's like, I know, he needs a lady. And she chooses a very awkward teacher, Ms. Geist, to be the one that he hooks up with. And it actually works. And he's more relaxed and he does better with everybody else and all the students. And Cher uses this opportunity to be like, oh, I'm just going to do more good deeds for other people.
Yep. And then that's when eventually you get to when they're at gym, which by the way is like one of my favorites shots ever, when you see all the girls lined up in the black and white. They're all different, but it's all black and white, like a fashion show or a music video. I thought that was perfect. And then enters Ty, which is played by the late Brittany Murphy,
who is doing such an interesting accent. It sounds like a Jersey accent to me, and it's like that uppity accent. I know there's one character in Orange Is the New Black that sounds like that too. But part of the thing is that the girls, and especially Cher, takes her under her wing, and she's like, I'm gonna like fix you up, make you over, and you're gonna be like talk of the town for all the boys.
And if you're paying attention in like Emma, she is basically the Harriet.
She's Harriet. Yeah. Ty is the Harriet of this movie. So Cher's trying to help her. But yeah, I think it's worth talking about the fashion in the movies because it's so iconic, and it's just, when you think of Clueless, you think of these suits that they're wearing and the interesting color patterns and some of the wildest pants on the boys you've ever seen.
When the costumer designer was doing this, if you actually looked at what we were wearing in the 90s, it was during the grunge era. So a lot of times, including me, guys and girls looked very much the same. And it was definitely baggy pants. It was basically an ugly time because we just came out of the 80s. And the 80s were insane.
It was not a very pretty dress at the time.
So I read that the designer wanted something to wear that would make them, the two main cast, the ones that are rich, to stand out. And that's where she came up with the idea from like uniforms, but made them with a color. And she chose yellow for Cher because it helps her make her pop out because she's Queen Bee, essentially.
And she's always in bright colors.
Fun fact, if you look at the 2020 version of Emma, she's wearing yellow, and that is a nod to Clueless.
Oh, what? That's great.
Yeah,
I love that.
I know that, though. I will say, though, eventually this movie did influence, people in my class, because I told you we were going through the grunge phase, but I just remember specifically when I was being introduced to some friends, because I was going to, again, North Atlanta, and I was, bouncing around groups. My friend Stan, he introduced me to the group, and there was this one girl, her name was Erin, and she was literally wearing like a fuzzy sweater that was like a crop top with the plaid skirts and the knee-high socks with like the penny loafers, and it was like straight up out of Clueless. Nowadays people dress more like what they want, but back then you were a lot more conservative in how you dressed, and to dress more like Cher was a little bit easier to do because, you're basically wearing a uniform skirt. Of course, it's probably a little hiked up still, and it's a different color.
Oh, sure. I'm sure the girls were rolling the skirt up to make it higher. Yeah.
Yeah, that movie had such an impact on fashion. But like Mean Girls, where everyone's outfit is picked to make sure it fits their character. Pretty sure it came a little bit with coming from this. So
yeah, I'm sure like the Mean Girls like lookbook contained clips from Clueless.
Yeah.
The intro to Cher's character in the beginning, it's like, what am I gonna wear today? And she goes to her computer and she types in like, it's so 90s, but it's like really, really advanced for the time too. And she just picks out some things and then she clicks a button that says dress me, and then digital Alicia Silverstone somehow in bra and panties. And yeah, she's a teenager. This is a little weird, but the clothes go over her and like perfectly match her outfit. And she's like, yeah, I think I'll wear that.
That scene though, because you're
good.
Just like, wow, she's not just wealthy, she's super wealthy.
I feel like that was also like a trend in movies and TV shows around this time, was like the rich kid who could like program their closet to get them stuff.
Yep.
And I feel like, and it's been a while since I've seen Mean Girls, feel like that was in Mean Girls too.
Regina George's room is so massive and so big and pink. It kind of gives a remnants to Cher.
But I like Cher more. She's more sweet.
Yeah, and like Cher is not a mean girl like Mean Girls at all.
I don't think she's mean. I think sometimes she gets the label of being clueless. Like she just doesn't know because she is a 16-year-old girl in high school.
In Beverly Hills. It's
in Beverly Hills. Gag me with a spoon.
She is privileged. She is sheltered. But she is not, I don't think, is a bad character. In fact, there are a lot of things she'll say that were actually agreed with. Like, I don't know how many times she gets quoted when she is in her debate talking about the Haitian refugees.
But didn't she end up talking about like her vacation or something?
Yeah, it was someone's 50th birthday and they had too many people that RSVP'd, and they were like, oh, she goes, like, we just get to the kitchen, rearrange some things, then sure we can like have more the merrier.
Oh yeah.
Something I know that's not verbatim, and then it's
that's
like
close. That's really
and
close.
then my favorite is when she says, and it does not say RSVP on the Statue of Liberty. And I'm sorry, when she grabs her gum and just goes,
oh yeah,
I'm like, that's
actually really
perfect.
Good. It's actually really good. No, you know what? It's right. Like, she's clueless in the fact that she's a valley girl who doesn't know the world, but at the same time, she's saying some things that, if you use different words, were pretty profound. And she is trying to help people, and I don't know, it seems a little less conniving than Emma, who was like, hey, I know you like me, but write a love note. Okay, I'm giving it to this other girl. There's a scene, okay, this is tying into the fashion as well. Cher is getting robbed. She is more upset. Not about the gun, not about the guy robbing her, not about the fact that she just got abandoned in this parking lot. She's more upset about getting on the ground and ruining her expensive Alaya dress.
Which is a legit Alaya.
I had a feeling. And then Bailey. And then, like, he makes her get on the ground, like surrender, and she's like, and she's only upset about the dress.
Her whimper is perfect in that too, by the way. It's like, but it's funny because you're just like, that's what she cares about.
She tried negotiating, not for her life, but for her dress. Her dress. So that was great. And also around that time, like, she was at a party beforehand, and her dad called her mad that she wasn't somewhere on time. And she's like, but I can't get there in 20 minutes. And he's like, everywhere in LA takes 20 minutes. I'm like, I'm sorry, wait a second. Was traffic different in the 90s?
Must have been, or I mean,
you inflate that number at least twice, I think, for today.
So I thought that was funny. That was also a scene where it was also a little sad because that's when Ty, her character, like, again, she's Harriet, but Mr. Martin is basically Travis. And Travis is just trying to be sweet to her and trying to get her attention. He even tries to, like, help her when she gets hit in the head by the shoe. Oh, God. But unfortunately, Cher keeps brushing him off. Like, no, we got it. And it's funny because the guy that is, like, the guy and Emma are both Eltons.
Yes, I've noticed that, but I think it's a first name this time.
Yeah, but I like the fact they didn't change his name.
I felt like that worked.
And how he ended up basically later on harassing or sexually harassing Cher in the car.
Oh, yeah. And she's like, all this happened at once. She's like, she's so overwhelmed.
Because unfortunately for this, I can actually see where Elton, also, unfortunately, he's an idiot. I mean, Getty is an idiot, but he also is thinking, like, Cher is trying to get his attention because she keeps looking at him at the dance floor at one point. So that is how he's reading it. But the fact that he doesn't take no for an answer, and then he just, like, leaves her in the parking lot. And this is not where you have, like, I mean, she had a cell phone, but it's not like, I mean, you have to deal with a payphone. It's not like you can just call someone else's cell phone to come and find someone to help
she was
you.
She was still kind of marooned.
It was just marooned there. I was just like, dude, like, Elton, you're not cool in either movie.
Yeah, literally. Good commentary. Slightly backpedaling just quick because I had another comment on the style of the time. Towards the end of the movie, Cher does have some really funny commentary about the boys' clothing. Like, they're all in really baggy jeans and the ridiculous, really baggy clothes. They're all wearing, like,
the best song ever,
XXL. Yes, there's great music playing in the background, and also backwards baseball caps. And I'm like, I remember people dressing like that, and it didn't make sense at the time either. And I'm so happy that Cher didn't go, oh, they're dreamy. She's like, I don't know why they dress like this. We don't like it.
Like, yes, the men's fashion back then was awful. Like, so many guys' hair, I mean, they would just be so messy. Like, any guy that was a little slightly groomed was attractive.
Oh, yeah. The one guy that Cher tries to end up with, the cute boy, and the description called him a metrosexual. I did not come up with that word myself. I haven't heard that term in so long. He has perfectly coiffed hair. And she's, like, watching a movie with him on his bed, and she's trying so hard because she realized she's the only one of her friend group who hasn't had any, like, romantic experience yet.
Which, by the way, he is the Ewan McGregor's character.
He is the Ewan McGregor character. She likes him. He doesn't necessarily reciprocate.
Yeah.
And she's trying to put the moves on him, and he's like, "Oh, are your feet cold?" I'm like, no.
And she did all she could to get ready for that. I mean, she wore, like, that cute red number.
She was very pretty, and she was worried. Like, when he rebuffed her, she was like, "Oh, is my hair flat?" I'm like, "Oh, honey, he's just not into girls."
No,
which
I mean, and that scene leads into one of the funniest scenes in the entire movie when poor Dion gets on the highway or the freeway without realizing it, and it's like the worst thing ever, and it was so hilarious when that scene happened. Dion's boyfriend, when he just starts, like, yelling towards the end, Murray, when he's just like,
Murray. Yeah, that was funny. He was
That was
terrified.
hilarious.
He was terrified.
That scene had the whole theater laughing.
Oh,
Like,
I'm
I remember
sure.
when that happened.
Cher's not stepbrother, because her father had married this woman like years back. It was a very brief marriage. They divorced, but he's still close with the son. And I remember Cher in the beginning of the movie going, "Aren't you divorced? Why would you care?" And he's like, "You divorce you divorce wives, you don't divorce children." So he's coming over to hang out with us for a while, be nice, all that. And Josh, who is the Knightley of this movie, is either a law student or going into like environmental law or something. So he's kind of going in the direction of Cher's father. So they have a bonding with that. But I did find it slightly odd that Cher ends up with him.
That is the only. I don't know why they did it that way, because they're not. Because Mr. Knightley is not a stepfather. Because that would make sense in Emma,
Or
because that was during
or like a step brother. Because if her father and that woman were still married, they would have been brother and sister.
Yeah, I know.
Legally.
So I don't know why they went that route, but
It's not my favorite.
I guess I try to overlook it and just think, okay, this is the modern version of Emma. I don't know, but
yeah,
that was the only issue.
It would have been okay if their parents had never been together,
Yeah.
right? So like whatever, I guess. I mean, again, it happens so quick. There's no time for these relationships, both with Emma or with Clueless, where Cher's having this moment where she's sitting at the stairs and she's like, "I ruined everything, didn't I?" And he's like, "No, you didn't." And then they kiss, and it's like, oh.
One thing to point out though, when she starts to realize that she is more into Josh versus, her fashion, her style is not as crazy.
Oh, okay.
Because before she's trying to impress so much, but with like Josh, she doesn't know what to do.
Yeah.
So she tries to. It's like she kind of dumbs down, which is funny. And then that's another reason why they show, because so many people's fashions mean something in the movie. Because Ty, it takes her forever to figure it out, but when she's wearing like her best outfit ever is when she's her meanest. Because that's when she's wearing the full plaid skirt like Cher normally does, but after the driving test, and when she like comes to burn all of Elton's stuff because she's into Josh.
Oh gosh,
that's when she makes the line of why am I taking advice from you in the first place? You're a virgin who can't drive. Like, and she's wearing the full on plaid versus what she's normally wearing.
That's right. I remember that. And it was a whole like, oh, I'm interested in someone else. It's Josh. Oh gosh. And saying that stuff to her Cher was not cool, but
no. And also, I mean, and then I don't know, I like so much of this movie. I mean, also one other character, I know she's not as big as of a character, but you can't help but not mention this movie without mentioning her fashion, because her fashion was wacky, which was Amber's.
Dion. Oh, Amber. I thought it was going to be
Dion's is more out there, but I feel like Dion's a little bit put together and it's sexy. Where if you think of Amber, her hair at one point, it's like Pippi Longstocking when they're doing the photo op together.
Okay.
Like, I don't know. Well, I think I read a thing where it's like she is supposed to be in, but it's like she's trying too hard. So that's why she's flashier than Cher and then the rest of them. Because Dion, yes, she's a little bit more out there too, but Dion's fashion makes sense. Mm-hmm. Where like Amber's, it's like, whoa. It's like that line that Cher says, she's like total Monet. Like from afar, it's great, but when you're up close, it's a big odd mess. And it's like, yeah, because her hair is literally must have wire in it to keep it up.
To keep it up. I did say like Dion's first outfit was probably the weirdest to start with, because Dion gets into Cher's car wearing like a plastic bucket hat. And Cher mentions that she has a very unique style. But after that, I mean, I think her style was a lot more palatable.
But I don't think it was too... Because, like, for one thing, she's still wearing the plaid, so it still matches Cher. Mm-hmm. It's just the added piece just tells you she's slightly different and a little bit wet. Because one thing they did say is, like, both are virgins, which, by the way, I thought was cool when they first start out, that they both are virgins in the beginning, and they're popular. So tells you, hey, kids, you don't have to be popular to have sex, or vice versa, or whatever. But like, but because she had a boyfriend, that's why they had her be. So they wanted her to be, I guess, a little slightly edgier. So that's why her is a little edgier.
Okay.
Also, hats back then like that were, I mean, she's basically looks like Janet Jackson from
Yes.
Poetic justice.
Yeah, no,
That's kind of also the style too.
I think you hit the nail on the head on that one. And also so delighted to have Wallace Shawn as Mr. Hall because he was in The Princess Bride.
Oh, you have all great, and then you have Travis
Travis is played by Breckin Meyer.
And he's been around, but no, he was always one of my favorite characters in that. I mean, always thought the funniest line when Mr. Hall was talking about like who has the most tardies, and he was like, by far the most, and his speech of like, I would never be tardy if it weren't for the
McDonald's making
system.
my thing late and something else, like everything that he could have avoided.
Yeah.
It was a good speech, to be honest, and everybody clapped. It was great.
Yeah,
everybody actually clapped. We're not making this up.
I wanted to go back to music, but also the party. But
yeah,
this is also one of the movies that kind of start the third wave into ska music, because the band that is playing is the Mighty Mighty Boss Tones, and that kind of helps, because if you notice, like that was right when also now No Doubt was starting to be popular, so that's right when ska started having its moment again, which lately I've been
binging No Doubt,
mentioning up lately in my stories on Instagram. I know some people are just like, oh, why do you like ska? I'm like, I don't know.
Like what you like. I'm sorry, people. We are all allowed to like what we like.
Well, it's like I told a friend, though. I'm like, it's more embarrassing to say you like ska than a boy band.
Oh, or damn.
It's more embarrassing to say you like Nickelback versus a ska band. It's just, I don't know. I think it's because it's happy music with punk, and it's like, you can't be happy and like punk. You have to either be sad or mad to like punk, or it's like you're not a true punk.
I think the joke about ska is like, I'm depressed, but now I have a trumpet. And I'm okay with that. That's fine.
So, and I think that's where that comes from. But yeah, I just remember like this is the round also when the ska movement started coming back around.
I'm glad that I've had folks suggesting different movies for me to try that got me out of my comfort zone. So, I mean, I'd never seen either of these movies before.
Oh,
and I appreciate having seen them. I did get bored several times through Emma.
I can see that.
I'm not big on period pieces.
I liked Emma, but I saw one as a preview because my mom got a bunch of previews, and I saw them actually at the old Terra over off of Chester Bridge, which is still around, by the way, people.
We do love the Terra Theater.
Should check out, but
always support your independent theaters.
But Clueless is basically a time capsule, in my opinion, for my years in high school, because again, has music and fashion, and that is basically, you know, a good epitome of culture. Also, some of the lines that were said in that movie. Cher still looks, I feel like she still is forward for what she's thinking. A lot of the other characters as well. So,
yeah.
I mean, so the movie is just great.
I know we talked a lot about the costuming. I wanted to look up who did the costumes. A woman named Mona May.
Yep.
Costume designer who worked for she worked on at least 70 different movie and television productions. So it's amazing. Oh, and the Calvin Klein underwear dress that Cher wore was designed by Sui. I don't know how to pronounce her name, who at the time was an emerging designer. So that's kind of cool.
You know, it's funny. We had mentioned Mean Girls. She did Mean Girls.
Oh, well, that's fitting. Yeah, so she had like a bold style, which is really cool.
Legally Blonde.
It literally takes a village to make these movies. Like it's not just one director. It's a ton of people in different disciplines all coming together to make a movie. So definitely shout out to the costumes on this movie. They really shined. And whoever picked the music.
She did do Mean Girls. Sorry, it's Romy and Michelle High School Radio. That's the one that she did. Oh. That's actually really good too. But...
Oh, okay. In 2008, Entertainment Weekly called Clueless one of the new classics in its list of 100 best films released between 83 and 2008.
It gets, I think, listed as one of the most fashionable movies. But we can also always talk, like, I liked how this ended because, unlike Emma, I feel like Emma doesn't learn as a lesson as much as Cher does, because Cher does rise to the occasion at some point when she starts falling in love with Josh. Instead, she starts like helping her fellow man.
Yeah, she's volunteering, isn't she?
She volunteers. Oh, and then how she makes up with Ty at the end where they're at the skating park, and how she's back in her normal cute clothing versus trying to look like Cher, and Cher is finally okay with her being interested in Travis. Like, I loved that. And then the wedding scene where everyone's back together and they're all their own style, but still kind of pink, but like Dion with the flowers in the hair.
That was cute. It was a cute.
And then
look.
Ty but Ty's the only one wearing blue because blue's, I guess, her color.
Oh.
So no, I just liked how it ended.
Well, yeah, because it ends with Cher and Josh basically starting to get together, and then she's like, naturally we go to, and then they go to the wedding. And she's like, as if that's not me. I'm 16. Like, I thought that was funny.
Yeah.
But it's the teachers getting together. It's the teachers getting married. Yeah, I like that she took sort of a humanitarian, like she wanted to help people and less about like, I just want to get people hooked up.
Yeah.
Because it's easy to skew the rich socialite girl into someone who's like unkind to other people. And I feel like if she was ever unkind to someone, it was accidental, and it's just because she's naive.
Another reason I like this because people are coming to realize that maybe she is also a feminist icon. Feminist icons don't always have to be someone like Wonder Woman. I mean, Wonder Woman is one too, but not every woman is like that. Some people are like Cher, someone that likes fashion, who likes makeup, who likes to look pretty, but still stands up for the things that they believe in.
Yeah, I agree.
So,
a strong female character does not always mean muscles. It means that they are basically their own person. They have thoughts, feelings, and things outside of their male counterparts.
And this one essentially had 4 strong female characters.
Yeah, and they were all different.
Yeah, like one's a tomboy, one's more urban, one's prissy and rich, and one's just out there with her fashion, which is Amber.
Usually I end episodes by saying, should this other movie have been made? But these are both technically remakes.
Yeah.
So, as far as Emma, should that movie have been made?
Yeah, because I can see where Clueless came from. And I actually did like Emma. I know it's not for everyone's tea because it's a lot more talking. It's no action. It's definitely not going to be probably a favorite among some of my guy friends or whatever, but I still like it.
But you see that it serves a purpose. It has that central story. I did not watch the TV movie version. I did not watch the other version, so I can't compare them.
See the 2020 version. That one is also good.
Oh, really?
Yes.
The one with Anya Taylor-Joy.
That one is good.
Good to know. Okay. And then I guess I'll ask, hey, should Clueless have... Yes, obviously, but the fact that they took this Regency era England story, made it very modern, still had enough of the story elements that it was still the story. It's still an adaptation, but it's a new flavor.
Well, if they didn't make this movie, would you have gotten 10 Things I Hate About You? Because that's based off of Taming of the Shrew.
Yeah, so I feel like that started a whole trend.
Because where like it was like a movie that would be based off of an old, but they would just redo it. Yeah.
And years later, Easy A is the Scarlet Letter.
Yeah. And then I think there's like another one.
Oh, I'm sure there is. Well, there's the modern Romeo and Juliet.
Which that one I love too.
And the other modern Romeo and Juliet, which is West Side Story.
yeah. So, and I think that's why. But yeah, this movie did a lot.
Yeah.
So
I think they both stand on their own. Bailey,
I will say, obviously, Clueless has a lot more cultural impact. Clearly,
I think so too. Because like Emma, it's like, which Emma are you talking about? Yeah. But like Clueless, it's like, oh, that, yeah, and you know exactly what movie you're talking about. As far as we know, it's not been remade in America yet. It's been remade in Bollywood, but
I mean, I hope they wouldn't want to touch it. But I mean, who knows? I mean,
there's so many things that
because like remade. Another movie they're redoing. Because I've like seen Devil Wears Prada, and they're redoing that one, which. Okay, but they're doing it anyway.
I know. I guess I try to reserve as much judgment as I can until I actually see the thing.
I mean, yeah, I try to do that too, but there's just some, though, I feel it's sacred. I mean,
there's certain stories that feel that way.
My roommate thinks like everything should be open, but I'm like, sometimes though, I do like it if some stuff just like Sinners. They don't plan on making a Sinners 2. Like Ryan made that as a complete story, and I'm like on board with that.
I'm okay with that, and I would love to see what else he comes up with that's original and defies expectations, because I feel like this is a director who's really come into himself and like gotten that confidence, and now he has investor confidence, now he has studio confidence.
Yeah,
people want to work with him,
And also outside does doing just Marvel as well.
And wouldn't it be great to see more original stories? I like my Marvel movies. I like the occasional adaptation and things like that. But like to see more great original content, then we could stop belaboring the whole Hollywood has run out of ideas.
Yeah.
Because we haven't necessarily, but at the same time, remaking things is quintessentially Hollywood. Thank you so much for coming and talking with me about these movies. This is a lot of fun. If you want to reach out to Dorothy, she will give you her email.
It's at mccod034@gmail.com. I'm always available in Atlanta, and I'm willing to drive out. And I'm definitely always willing to, if you want me to go to another city or state, I can do that too, but I know you gotta be local.
Yeah, we know how that works. All right. So if you want to follow the podcast, Instagram, it's Lights Camera Remake Podcast. We have a Gmail. It's lightscameraremake@gmail.com. Follow us on Spotify, Apple Music, Amazon Music, whatever your podcast platform listening choice is. Please leave a comment, share with your friends, because sharing is caring, and that will help us continue to grow. Thank you guys so much, and I can't wait to tap into next week when I will cover, I have no idea what movie I'm covering next week. I look forward to talking to you guys next time, and in the meantime, stay clueless.
All right, cool. Wow.